Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a makeup declutter. I uploaded one about 2 weeks ago. If you guys want to check it out, I'll link it in the description box below. Today I wanted to declutter my blushes. My blush collection is a little bit bigger than I thought it was because they were kind of spread out in the drawer. I just wanted to condense it, and I used to have blushes, bronzers, and highlighters all in the same drawer, but because my blush collection grew, I had to move the highlighters and bronzers to another drawer, which I don't like. I want everything to be in one because I don't want to have an overwhelming collection. Even though I film YouTube videos as my job, I still try to keep my collection in check and not purchase an extremely large amount of products. But because I do film review videos, inevitably I try things that don't work for me, or maybe the colors aren't really my preference anymore. So that's why I like to go through and declutter my collection every year. Just make sure I have products that I know I will use and enjoy. I know there are blushes in here I haven't used since my last declutter, so if that's the case, they have to go. I don't always set a goal for myself, but because I want to fit all of my highlighters and bronzers back in this drawer, I want to declutter about a third of my collection. I think that will be good. Nothing is getting thrown away unless it is old or expired. I might have a couple of older blushes in here, but I try to catch products before they expire and pass them along to friends and family. That's why I like to do my declutters, just to keep my collection in check, remove products I'm not using so they can go to a new home and not go to waste. Okay, I don't have a specific order to go in, so let me start with these because I'm definitely going to keep these. These are the Melt Cosmetics Digital Dust Duo Blushes. So this one is in Raw Honey, and it's funny because last year when I did my declutter video, I was kind of saying that I didn't like this formula as much as I thought I was going to, and it has completely changed. I absolutely love this formula. I think in that video, a couple of you guys told me to use a dense brush, and this definitely applies better with a dense brush compared to like a larger fluffy blush brush. This just gives your cheeks the most beautiful glow. It is a little bit more of a subtle formula, but I love that. This one is definitely more pigmented. This one is Queen Bee. And then there's also a third duo. This is what I kind of use as like a blush bronzer highlighter hybrid. It's definitely a shade that I reach for more in the summertime, but this formula looks so pretty on the cheeks. It does not enhance texture. It makes your skin look so smooth, so glowy. So if you like glowy blushes, this is such a great option. I'm also going to keep this one. This one is the M Cosmetics blush in the shade Faded Clementine. But again, if you like a glowy blush, this one is such a great option. This one is like a blush highlighter hybrid. It's very, very subtle on the skin. It doesn't have a ton of color payoff, so I feel like you could use it as a blush topper. But if you're like me and you do prefer more subtle blush overall, this is really pretty because it just gives your skin a really natural glow. Let me move on to a couple of Colourpop blushes. So I have these, and then I have the Heart blushes from Colourpop, and then I also have the Super Shock blushes as well. Let's actually start with the Heart blushes. So last year, Colourpop did a Valentine's Day collection, and they released these cute little heart blushes. So this one was part of the collection, this one, and then this one. And they were such a hit. They sold out so fast. And it's funny because I don't typically like Colourpop's powder blushes, but these are a little bit different. They're very, very smooth on the skin, and they apply better, in my opinion, than these. These are very difficult to open, which I think kind of stops me from using them more often. But I love this shade for everyday wear. This is like my perfect everyday color. It is so, so pretty. And then they also have this pink one. This one is called My Type. I think I'm actually going to declutter this one. I am someone who wants to love, that one opened easily, so I don't know, maybe it just depends, but I'm someone who wants to love pink blush, like this color pink, and I just rarely wear it for some reason. So I am going to declutter this one, pass it along. It's way too cute to just be sitting in my collection going unused, so I'm sure someone else in my life would enjoy this. The last one from last year is this one. This one is called Love Me Not. This is so pretty. So I really don't have like a lot of red toned blush in my collection. And even though I do prefer subtle blush, sometimes I like a pop of color. So this one looks really pretty on the skin. I am going to keep this one, especially because I have a couple of different Valentine's Day looks in mind. By the time this goes up, Valentine's Day will probably be over, but throughout the month of February, I just want to focus on like pink and purple and red makeup, so I do plan on using this one quite a bit as well. This one is called Let's Dance. This one is a pink blush, but it's more of a pink that I would wear. It's a little bit warmer. Again, it's like a mid-toned pink like the other one, but I definitely prefer a blush in this shade. This is something I would wear a lot, especially during the springtime. So I'm going to keep these. They're new. They're in my everyday makeup drawer this month. This one is called Baby Cakes. I don't know why, but I cannot get this one open for some reason. I would try to use my nail to pop it open, but I just did them, so I don't want to break my nail. So this last one is called Flirt Alert. Again, it's like a mid-toned pink, but this one's a little bit cooler. This one is really pretty. I think this could become one of my favorites too. So I am going to keep most of them, but I think I will declutter these other blushes from Colourpop. I do have the two from the Lizzie McGuire collection. I love this collection. I think it is so cute. It is the like throwback collection I was most excited about because I loved Lizzie McGuire so much. But I just don't wear these blushes. This is Delish, and this one is, again, kind of like that blue toned pink, which just isn't a shade that's very flattering on my skin tone. And then the other one is a little bit of a deeper pink. I actually did a full review on this collection, and I think I said the blushes just weren't anything super special. I had them in my collection because I thought I might use them a little bit more after reviewing the collection, but I really haven't reached for them. So I am going to declutter these two as well. This blush is called Jet Set, and I don't think I've actually even worn it. I think it's because it kind of looks like a bronzer. Is it a bronzer? No, pressed powder blush. I guess you could use it as a bronzer or a blush depending on what you typically go for. I don't typically put products in my drawer that I haven't used. I like to test them out first before I put them in my actual makeup collection and make sure I actually enjoy them. But sometimes makeup gets a little bit mixed up as I'm reviewing videos and testing things out, so sometimes they make their way into my makeup collection, and if I haven't touched it, then I like to donate it. This one is called a Juice Bar. This is such a pretty color, but again, I just haven't used it. You know, I think I just have it in my mind that these blushes don't typically work for me, so that's why I don't reach for them very often. And in the future, unless they change their formula, I just don't plan on buying their pressed powder blushes that come in this packaging, just because, like I said, I haven't had good luck with them. So over here I have some Buxom blushes. These are the Wanderlust Primer Infused blushes. I love this formula so much. It's really such a good formula, and I was hoping they would do additional shades by now because these came out a few years ago. This shade is Mykonos, which is like an orangey coral. This is something that I love to wear during the summertime. And then this one is called Havana. This one is kind of like a mid-toned pink. Actually, this is kind of similar to those other mid-toned pinks that I was kind of talking about earlier. And even though it is so pretty on the pan, it just doesn't look good on my skin tone. So I don't end up reaching for them. And I think I'm tempted to keep this because I like the formula, but you know what? I don't think I've actually worn it since my last declutter video. So it might be time to part with this one. The formula is so good, so I'm sure someone else will enjoy it. I just shouldn't keep colors that I don't wear. This one is called Dolly, so this is a little bit of a deeper blush. I do love this shade. It's not something I wear super often, but I do like to have a couple of deeper blushes in my collection when I want to wear more of a bold look. So I'm going to keep this one for now, but if I do come across similar shades, I'll probably have to choose because I don't need a ton of them. Oh, I forgot. I did get a new Seychelles. So Seychelles is my absolute favorite blush of all time. It is so beautiful. It's just the most gorgeous, like subtle blush, but it does have a hint of glow to it. It's not full on shimmer, but it looks really glowy and pretty on the skin. Mine looks rough. I've had mine for a really long time. It looks very textured, and for a while I felt like it was still good, but the last few times I used it, I did feel like the formula changed. So I actually think mine expired. So it's time to get rid of this one now that I have the new one in my collection. Back here I have two of the e.l.f. Primer Infused blushes. I love this formula so much. I think it's one of the best blush formulas, but I haven't worn these two shades since my last declutter. So this one is called Always Breezy. e.l.f. released a couple of other blush formulas since these, which I tend to reach for a little bit more just because the colors are shades that I would typically wear. This is so pretty, but I feel like it would look better on one of my sisters. My younger sister has a little bit of a darker skin tone than me, and I think this would look so gorgeous on her. So I'm going to see if she wants that. This shade is called Always Rosy. This is a really pretty everyday shade, but because I kept this Colourpop one, I think they're actually really similar. I'm just going to declutter the other one. The Colourpop one is a little bit lighter, but I do think I would go for a shade that's a little bit lighter just because I do prefer more subtle blush overall. So these are also from e.l.f. These are their bite-sized face duos. So I know that the e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow trios, what are they? Bite-sized eyeshadow palettes, they're quads, whatever they're called. I know that those are such a hit, but I feel like not as many people like their face duos. I actually love these. I think they look so pretty on the skin. I would say the formula is somewhat similar to the Primer Infused formula, so that's why I'm okay with decluttering those because I am going to keep a few more of these. So let me take a look at them. I'm going to keep this one. This one is one of my favorites. It's called Pomegranate. So it comes with a pink blush, and then they all come with a highlighter as well, so you can mix them together or use them on their own. This is so pretty on the skin. I love this duo. So I'm going to keep this one, and then I'm also going to keep this one. It is called White Peach. I love using this one during the summertime because it's a little bit more of an orangey peach blush with a really pretty like golden peach highlighter. So I have two more like pinky toned ones. So this one is called Guava. I think I'm going to declutter this one because it's somewhat similar to the next one, which I think I'll keep. So here's what Guava looks like. You get a brighter like melon pink blush, and then again a highlighter. I don't wear this highlighter a ton because I feel like it's slightly too dark for my skin tone. So I am going to declutter this duo, but I'm going to keep this one. This one is called Watermelon. I like this highlighter because it's a very like peachy pink highlighter. I don't have a ton of highlighters like that. I am going to keep Spiced Apple. This is a little bit of a deeper blush on my skin tone that I think looks really pretty, especially during the fall. But I think I can declutter this one. This one is Lychee. It's really pretty, but I just don't know that I've reached for this one a ton. Again, because the highlighter is a little bit darker, I feel like I don't typically wear that. And then even though the blush shade is pretty, it's not like my go-to color. So I think I will declutter this one and just pass them along to someone else. So I have some different blushes from Catrice. I love their blush formula so much. So originally I purchased these two, just like their original blush boxes, and then they released these two. And these two are so good, but they just look really glowy, so pretty. They are definitely Hourglass dupes. I have a couple of Hourglass blushes, and I actually end up reaching for these a little bit more because they have slightly more pigment. So I'm going to keep this one, and I'm also going to keep the deeper one too. If you want a deeper option, this is the one to try. You can definitely pick up some of this, you know, darker berry color and get a pretty pigmented look. These look so nice on the cheeks. I cannot get enough of them. I hope they release additional colors because I wear these all the time. But I think I'm actually going to declutter these two. I haven't worn these two very much since purchasing the other ones. These look really nice on the skin. There's definitely nothing wrong with the formula. This one is bronze, but I feel like these days I just prefer something a little bit more glowy, and these look slightly more matte on the skin. I mean, that's actually been the case for a really long time. I just love glowy blush. So I feel like I haven't been wearing this one very often, or this one. This one is called Glistening Pink. They definitely look better on the skin than other matte blushes I've tried, but they still have more of a matte look compared to the other Catrice formula or even other formulas I have in my collection. So because of that, I am going to declutter these two. These three are from Essence. This is called the Blush. These are so good. I cannot believe they're $3. These feel very similar to the Buxom blushes. If you like just a very smooth formula that looks slightly glowy on the skin, but not like a glittery or shimmery version of glowy, just like a natural sheen, these are perfect. Actually, I feel like maybe two of them are matte and then two give like that natural glow. This one is called Bespoke. This is one of my favorites. Mine's getting a little bit older. I feel like the formula has changed a little bit. So I don't want to declutter it because I love it so much. I was going to say I should probably replace this because mine's getting old. They do still have them on Ulta's website for $2.99. So I'm going to declutter this one for now, and then I might end up replacing it. I love it, but it's typically something I wear during the summer, so I might wait to replace it. But my other two are still good. I've had this one just as long. This one is called Befitting. This one is more of like a soft pink. I don't wear this one as much, but I do like this if I want like a softer makeup look. It's kind of similar to that mid-toned pink I don't typically reach for, but this one doesn't have quite as much pigment. So I feel like on my skin tone, it's a very subtle flush of color. And then I think I just recently got this one. This one is called Beloved. I didn't actually wear it yet. Why did I buy this? I feel like it's that pink color that I don't like. And I feel like it's becoming a pattern because I kind of have a lot of pinks in my collection. So I don't know if I went through a phase where I was buying a lot of pink blush, but I'm just not wearing it very much these days. So I think I will keep a couple and then declutter the other ones. I'm actually going to declutter this one because I haven't even worn it. I don't remember when I bought this, so it might have been in here for a little while. It might be newer. I'm not sure. So I'm going to declutter this one and pass it along because it's unused. This is the Ulta Beauty Mineral Blush in the shade Calla Lily. This is really pretty. I did get it in the mail as PR, so I didn't purchase yet another pink blush. The formula is really good, and I'm glad I got the chance to try it out because now I know I like the formula. But again, it's just not a shade that I typically wear, so I'm going to pass this one along too. Okay, I feel like I can condense these two sections. which will be good. Well, I'll leave these here for now, but I was able to get rid of the majority of this row, so let's keep going. This is their Baked Powder Blush in Peach of Me. Their baked blushes are so good. I would actually like to try a couple of other shades this year because right now I have 3. This is so stunning if you like a really vibrant blush. When I bought it, I don't think I knew it was going to be quite as vibrant as it is, but I'm going to pass this product along again to my younger sister because her skin tone is darker than mine, so I think she will love this pop of color, especially during the summertime. She gets a super intense tan. I do not get a tan, I just get a lot of freckles, so I try to avoid the sun as much as possible, but this would look so pretty on her, especially during the summer. I think I thought it was going to be a little bit more similar to this one. This one is called Luminoso. I've had this one for a while, but the formula is still good. This is such a pretty, just like subtle peachy blush. And again, it gives your skin the most beautiful subtle glow. This is the shade Berry Amour. I picked this one up because a bunch of you guys recommended it. It's such a pretty pink. I like this pink compared to other pinks because it kind of has a little bit of a warm undertone to it, so it just looks so pretty on the skin. Again, it blends out so easily and gives you the most beautiful glow. So I'm going to keep this one too. Right here I have a couple of blushes from Flower Beauty. I like their formula because it's very smooth, really silky. Some of them have like a little bit of a glow, but some are more on the matte side. So I just recently got this one. This one is called Spiced Petal. It's a really pretty soft everyday color. It's kind of like a pinky nude. So I'm still testing this one out, but so far I like it. It looks really pretty on the skin. This one is called Sweet Pea. I've had this one for the longest time. And again, it's just not a shade that I typically like these days on my skin tone. The formula is really good. If you do like that softer, silky formula, I think you'll enjoy it, but I am going to declutter this shade. And then I recently got this one. I did get this one in the mail as PR. It's called Berry More, but it is so pretty. It's a really intense berry tone. You can build it up to be a little bit more dramatic on the skin, a little bit more pigmented if that's what you're going for. And typically when I do use it, it's pretty vibrant on my cheeks. But again, I like to have just a couple of options that are a little bit more intense. So I'm going to keep this one. These 4 blushes are from Hourglass. I've had these for years. The formula is still good, so I am going to keep them. This one is called Euphoric Fusion. This one is called Ethereal Glow. The last formula I just showed you is a shimmery formula. This one is more of a matte formula, but it just gives your skin like a very bright appearance because it's mixed with that like glowy brightening powder. I like this one because it just kind of makes my face look brighter as a whole. Brilliant Nude does have some shimmer in it, so it is more of the glowy formula. And then this one is Dim Infusion. It's a little bit more subtle, but it gives your skin like a coral glow, but this one doesn't have shimmer in it either. Okay, let's move on to cream cheek products. So right here I have one of the Milani Cheek Kiss cream blushes. I know I have another one somewhere. We are in the process of moving, so I'm not sure where some of my makeup products are. So if you know that I have like a certain blush and you don't see it here, it's probably in another one of my bins that I already packed to move. I think I have the majority of my blushes here, but I'm probably missing a few. This one is in the shade You're a Peach. Again, when I purchased this, I didn't realize they were so intense and vibrant, which is amazing if you're looking for pigmented blushes. I love this formula. It's one of my favorite cream formulas. It has like this beautiful, almost like oiliness to it, which doesn't necessarily sound good, but it allows the product to blend out so nicely. So I do want to purchase maybe like a more subtle shade in this formula. And then the one that I have is like a bright berry, but I just don't wear this bright coral enough to keep it in my collection. So I'm sad to get rid of it because it's so pretty, but I'm sure someone else will enjoy it. Actually, I have one more powder blush. It's time to declutter this one. This one is not a super old purchase. I think I got it at the end of last year. I'm so sad about this. It's the Huda Beauty Glowish blush in the shade Healthy Peach. I thought I was going to love this. Like, I actually thought the formula would be my new go-to formula because the way that it's marketed and just described sounds like it's going to be a glowy blush, but not a shimmery blush, just something that gives your skin like a natural luminosity, just like the Buxom blushes. I don't get any glow when I use this. It looks so matte on my skin that I just don't like it. I always have to end up going over it with another blush or like a shimmery blush topper, and I feel like for me that's just not something I'm looking for. My mom loves matte products, especially on the skin, so I'm going to see if she wants this. Maybe she'll enjoy it more than I do. A lot of you guys told me that the deeper shades are more pigmented because I was kind of surprised at the lack of pigmentation with this as well. This doesn't show up on my skin, and as you can tell, like my skin tone is pretty light. So I would say if you have a deeper skin tone, maybe go with a darker color. This just it was a fail all around for me. I have two cream blushes from Tower 28. I like this formula too. It's different than the Milani formula. The Milani formula is a little bit more blendable, more creamy. This one is more long lasting. So if you are looking for longevity with your cream blushes, this is the formula to try. I got this one not too long ago. This is a really good like everyday shade for me. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. And then I also have this one, which is called Power Hour. This is a lot deeper, but again, sometimes I like a really vibrant blush because you can go in and sheer it out. And this is a shade that I love. It's really unique to my collection. So I'm going to keep this one too. This one is from Fenty. I was so excited to finally try one of the Fenty cream blushes. This one is called Peach Face. So I got like a little set that came with this and then a mini gloss bomb, and they were both peach tones. I don't think it's available anymore because I got it during the holiday season, but I am going to keep this one. It's a little bit softer than the Milani cream blush, and I feel like you can sheer this one out and it can look a little bit more subtle on the cheeks. So I like the e.l.f. putty blushes, so I am going to keep these. This one is called Tahiti, and these are nice because they're a little bit more subtle. You can build them up to some extent. I think if you use your fingers, they look a little bit more vibrant on the cheeks. I like to use just like a stippling brush and just lightly stipple them on my skin. This one is called Bali. So I did have all of them. They sent them to me at one point, but I only kept a few, just shades that I thought I would wear. This shade, again, it's something that's a little bit more unique to my collection. Actually, I have this one and I have the Tower 28 one. I think they're kind of similar. The Tower 28 one is a little bit more pigmented, but if you like more of a subtle cream blush, the e.l.f. one might actually be a good alternative. I wouldn't call it a spot-on dupe, but actually the shades are really, really close. I normally like to swatch products in these videos, but there's something going on with my camera. I need to replace it. When I actually swatch something and then I like hold my hand out to show you the swatch, it never focuses on my hand. I don't know what's going on with it. So I need to replace my camera one of these days, but that's why I'm not swatching. So I apologize for that. I'll actually compare these and see how close they are off camera and actually wear them. The formulas aren't exactly the same. That's why I hesitate to say it's a dupe, but it might be a good color alternative. Because I have the Tower 28 one, I think I'll actually declutter this e.l.f. one just because it's such a unique color for my collection. I don't feel like I need two that are that close. This one is called Bahamas. I love this one, especially for the summer. It's like a corally, orangey shade, but it's a little bit more subtle, so I feel like it is perfect for everyday wear. And then I also have this one, which is called Turks and Caicos. So this one's kind of similar, but it's a little bit more pink toned. It's just like a pretty watermelon blush that I think is fun for the summertime too. And then I just tried this blush from Beauty Pie. This is so good. This is their Super Cheek in the shade Sexy Berry. I love this color so much. It is so pretty. If you like berry toned blushes, I think you'll love this. I would say the formula is, it's kind of similar to the Milani Cheek Kiss formula, but it's a little bit different because this one, how do I explain the difference? I like to apply this one with my finger. The Milani one, I feel like I like to use a sponge because it is so pigmented that I have to use a sponge to kind of sheer it out and get more of that even application. This glides on like the Milani one, but I feel like it's a little bit more, not natural looking on the skin, but it even blends just a little bit better. It's really pretty. I've been so impressed by Beauty Pie products as a whole. I think the quality is really nice. Okay, I think it is time to part with the Colourpop Cheek Dew Serum Blushes. Here's the thing about this formula. I like how this looks on the skin. It's a really interesting texture because it looks so glowy, so luminous, but the formula just separates like crazy. And you can mix it back up, but the second you lay it back down in your collection or even stand it up, it starts to separate. So I just don't think it's a very long-lasting product. Like the shelf life isn't very long. I actually decluttered these just a few months after they originally released them, and then they did this collection during the summertime, and I said I would try to see if they changed the formula, but I don't think they have because these still separate so badly. So I don't recommend them for that reason. I like the formula, but the shelf life is not good. So I'm going to declutter these. It's funny because I've had these for a really long time, for years, and these are still good. These are the Flower Beauty Blush Bombs. I have 5 shades, so I am going to keep most of them. This formula is different, so it's a little bit more of like a gel serum texture, and I would say they have more pigment than the Colourpop ones. This one is my favorite. It's called Pinched. It's a really pretty, like, everyday nude for my skin tone. And then I also have this one, which is Cinnamon. It's a lot deeper, but I do like this one if I kind of use it with a sponge to sheer it out a little bit. This one is called Nectar. It's a really pretty corally peach. Again, a little bit softer, so I love this one during the summertime. This one is called Bitten. It's a really intense berry, but again, I feel like it's fun to have a couple of really fun, vibrant options, so I'm going to keep that one. But I am going to declutter Bubbly. I almost called it Bubbly, because it's just, again, that pink shade that I don't love on my skin tone. Did I talk about this? Maybe I just made a mental note. I was going to declutter it. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Exposed. So this was actually one of my first high-end blushes. I remember buying one of these back in like 2011, 2012, and I loved the formula so much. I had it in my collection for years. It eventually expired and I had to get rid of it. Tarte sent me a couple of products in the mail as PR last year, including this blush. And I don't know, it's not as good as I remember. I don't know if the formula changed or my preferences have changed, but it's just a little bit too subtle for me, which I feel like is kind of weird because I do like really subtle blush. But I'm just going to give this to probably my mom because it is a matte blush and see if she enjoys it because I'm just not using it. Okay, back to the cream blushes. Well, I have one more liquid blush. This is the Ulta Beauty Stay Cheeky liquid blush in the shade Velvet Rose. I am going to keep this one. This one is kind of similar to the Flower Beauty one, but a little bit softer. These are the Colourpop blush sticks. So they have a bunch. I have 3 of them. These were part of the Limoncello collection, which I thought was really pretty, but I do think the packaging of the collection was a little bit more appealing than the actual collection to me, but I did try these out and I really enjoyed them. So this one is called Cottage Life. This is such a pretty, like, everyday pinky tone that I like to wear when I'm in a hurry. These are also nice because you can use them on the lips if you're doing like a quick monochromatic look. This one is called Coastal Drive. So again, this is kind of similar to the Tower 28 blush that I kept. So I think I am going to declutter this one. I think the formulas are different for sure, but I just don't know that I wear this blush color enough to need both of them in my collection. But I think I'll keep this one too. This one is called Picnic Time. This is like a brighter toned pink one. I don't wear super bright pink blush a lot, but this one kind of has like a warm undertone to it, like a little bit of a corally tone. So I think it's really pretty during the summertime. So I'm going to keep 2 and then declutter 1. I have these 2 blushes from Too Faced. These are called the Peach Bloom Color Blossom Lip and Cheek Tints. I don't usually wear these on the lips, but these look really pretty on the cheeks. I especially like this one, which kind of surprised me because I don't typically love really purpley blushes, but I do think it's a little bit more sheer than you would think, and it's definitely a unique shade I don't have in my collection otherwise. So I'm going to keep this one, but I will declutter Peach Glow. It's not super peachy. It definitely looks a little bit more like hot pink on my cheeks, which again, I just don't typically wear as much as I used to. So it's time to part with that one. And then I'm actually going to declutter this too. This is the Ulta Beauty Lip and Cheek Stick. It's not like a tint like the other formula. This is definitely something, like, it looks like this. It's a stick. I feel like this works well enough, but it's not as good as the Colourpop blush sticks. So when I'm in a hurry and I want like a lip and cheek product, I just don't typically reach for this. I usually reach for one of these. So I'm going to pass these products along, these 2. Okay, I'm almost done. Over here, I just have some of the Colourpop Super Shock blushes. So let me just bring them forward. So first of all, these are newer to my collection, so I'm not going to declutter these 3. These were part of one of their, it wasn't a Valentine's Day collection, but they did like a pink collection not too long ago. This one is Sounds Grape. This one is called At First Blush, which is also pearlized. This one is so pretty. So this is a pink that I like because it has a really good amount of shimmer to it. So I kind of use it as like a blush highlighter hybrid. Even though I'm really like anti super pink blush, I love pink highlighters. So that's the reason why I like that one. This one is called No Way, and this one's a little bit warmer. It's a nice everyday color. The Colourpop Tinkerbell collection was so much fun. I felt like it was definitely one of their more unique collections as a whole. The eyeshadow palette is still one of my favorites, and I love this Happy Thoughts Super Shock Cheek. I think it's actually meant to be a highlighter, but I wear it as a blush. It's pretty light, so typically I'll just kind of layer it over blushes that don't give my skin enough glow, like that Huda Beauty one, but this is so pretty. I'm definitely keeping this one. And then there is a shade in here that I don't wear a whole lot. This one is called Magic Moon. This is a pinky corally shade. This one is not quite as glowy on the skin as I originally thought it was going to be. I definitely prefer like a really glowy Super Shock cheek. So I'm just going to pass this product along and declutter it. It's somewhat new. I think this collection came out at the end of last year. So I definitely want to declutter it before it goes bad. And then this one is called Darling. This is a really pretty color. It's kind of like the Tower 28 one, but it has like this really pretty gold sheen to it. So it looks so pretty on the skin. I'm going to keep this one. These last three are from the Valentine's Day collection last year. This one is Brute Flu. This is so pretty on the skin. I do still love that, so I'm going to keep it in my collection. And then I have Cruel Intentions, which this one is a matte blush. Like I said, I've come to realize I just don't like the matte blushes as much, so I'm going to declutter this one, but I am going to keep the shade Cheerio, which is so pretty. It's pretty vibrant. It's definitely more of an intense blush, but I think it is absolutely gorgeous, so I'm going to keep this one too. Okay, just three more things to talk about. I just recently got this Milani Cream palette. This is their Cheek Kiss Cream Blush palette, and it is so pretty. I think I might hold off on buying some of their single Cheek Kiss cream blushes just because I'm really happy with this one. It's the same formula, but I feel like these are a little bit less pigmented. So the original single blushes are so good if you want like a super intense, vibrant formula, but if you want something a little bit softer, I would recommend picking up this palette. It looks so good on the skin, and these actually layer really nicely on top of powder products, which is not always the case when it comes to creams. So I am going to keep this one. I am going to keep this. It's the e.l.f. Electric Mood Cream Quad. This is so pretty on the skin. I love the bronzer. I love the blushes. I don't wear the highlighter as much because typically I do reach for a powder highlighter, but this one's really easy to use. The formula is pretty similar to the Milani palette in that it's very lightweight. You can wear it over powder. You can wear it over foundation. It just looks so good on the skin. So I'm really impressed by the quality. I'm definitely going to hang on to this. This is the BH Cosmetics Blush Palette in Vanilla Cream. I loved this. I still love the formula, but it is full of pink shades that I just don't wear at this point. So I think I am going to declutter this one, sadly. I always meant to pick up additional shades, but I never got around to it. And now I don't even know if they are still available on the BH Cosmetics website. If they are, I might have to purchase like one more because I don't know how long they will be available with the news that BH Cosmetics filed for bankruptcy. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I like the formula. I just don't wear these shades, so I don't want to keep it just for this blush right here because I do have other blushes in my collection that are somewhat similar. So I think it's time to declutter it. Okay guys, so here's a look at my current blush collection after I decluttered. I think I could probably condense this a little bit more and maybe clear out one more of these containers, and then some of these blushes will go in my everyday makeup drawer, but I think I was actually able to declutter quite a bit. So here are all of the blushes I decluttered. I have 32 blushes in here. So I counted before I started, I had 82. So let me just do the math. I decluttered 40%, which is good. That's actually more than I wanted to declutter. I wanted to declutter a third of my collection and I decluttered 40% of it. So I'm definitely happy with that. I feel like I got rid of a lot of shades that I just don't wear anymore. You know, your preferences really can change, which I feel like is something important to keep in mind because if you're anything like me, there's a chance that when you enjoyed a color like this, you bought a lot of blushes in this color. And now that I don't wear this color, I decluttered quite a few. So I think moving forward, if I kind of, you know, fall in love with a certain color like coral, maybe I'll purchase a couple of coral blushes, but not fill my entire collection with coral blushes because preferences change, styles change, and because of that, I feel like you don't end up using everything in your collection until you use it up or it goes bad. So I feel like decluttering just kind of always teaches me something new about my buying habits, and this time around it's to not buy so much of one color. So I feel like this was a successful declutter. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned because I'll be uploading another one in about a week or two. I think I'll probably do bronzers and highlighters next. So thanks for watching today's video. I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye.